So, here we go. Alright. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classics. This is episode number 2857 and Doubleshot number 2751. Yeah, we're kind of doing two trades, and, well, one is set of issues written by Adam Dixion, the other one's on by Chuck Dixion. Yep. A good chunk of the stuff here. So, in these issues, well, for this stuff here, we're discussing Robin Big Leagues, which collect issues 163 to 167, and Birds of Prey, Volume 3 by Chuck Dixion. Yeah, so the Robin issues, the first issue is a Father's Day issue. It's basically Tim getting a present for Bruce, Father's Day. It's a watch. Gets to a fight, and the watch breaks. Sadly. Oh, one thing I almost forgot to mention when it comes to this arc. This arc is sadly put, well, the best way to describe it, it is also the last arc that Adam Dixion writes. He doesn't even finish the arc itself. Like, the final issue by somebody else before they had the stuff related to yeah. And it's all about fighting this group known as the Jury. Which, that is interesting. Yeah. So, they were apparently a group of bad guys. Like, Rob remembers these guys. They're from basically, like, Nightwing. And they're in Bloodhaven. Yeah, they first appeared in 145 by Bill Willingham. And these guys, this was a one-off return of these guys. And that's the last he saw of this group. They got beaten up, and of course he's with his girlfriend, Sam Watkins. And then issue 164, he takes on a group known as, well, basically we have this guy called Dodge. Yeah. He's kind of like here with a peer named Cheater, Micro, Skill, Tapeworm. Cheater, now Skill, it's really in the story is actually just Ravager. Micro, it feels like, okay, let's just basically have for this big league story arc, let's have Robin take on a group of minor thugs for basically a whole story arc. And have this guy Dodge be sort of like this big fan. It's like, oh yeah, let's take the character concept of Nightwing, it's an eccentric version of a character, and just make him annoying. Because that's all basically Dodge was. He was just an annoying character. Yeah. And by 166, he's gone. 167, which is the finale for this story, and it's not even written by Adam Dixion. It's somebody written by Brandon Thomas, which has Tim take on frickin' Lockup. Yep. Oh, in case you're curious though, Chuck Dixion brought him the comics. Yep, Chuck Dixion created the comic version of Lockup, who first appeared in issue during the Underworld stuff. His first full appearance was in 697, but basically he became it, and still real name Lloyd Bolton. For Robin, this was a one-off return for him. Yeah, it was nice to see Lockup. I thought it was a really good issue to see him again. The best way to describe Lockup, it's like, oh, let's have him be like a kind of like a character who just is a cop who imprisons criminals. They had a similar thing also in the miniseries known as the Chain Gang, except they were basically kidnapping like politicians, corrupt politicians, in prison in their basement. As the story itself, it's okay. I do like the artwork by Freddie Williams. I think he does a great job here. Plus, I've met Freddie Williams. He's a great artist. Actually, I'm signed my trade for Batman TMNT 3. He did the artwork for that one. But that's the only thing really good about the story arc is basically the artwork. But it's not terrible. Not really, no. But now we reach the end of Adam Beecham's time on the book. So let's go ahead and get my final thoughts on Adam Beecham's run on Robin. Well, for one thing, he had a very controversial start with the Wanted story arc, which I reviewed that, oh my gosh, like over 10 years ago I reviewed that trade. And for the longest time, that was the only thing I reviewed for Adam Beecham's run, was that opening trade. And now basically just to finish up his run. His run was not really very long. Like, if you're curious, how long was Adam Beecham's run? Well, for one thing, he came with the book with issue 148, which was the Robin Wanted story arc. Yeah. So he was on this book for almost 30 issues. Basically, he was there for about 3 years. I would say the book was slowly doing okay. It was surprisingly collected in like 3 trades, this whole run. While Dixon's run basically is still not fully collected yet. Nope, they do have a new compendium out for Robin, and all it is just the first 3 trades combined into one. Yep, that is literally what the book is. It's just taking first 3 books combined into one plus a few new stuff. And that's it. No, seriously. That's all I did for this big compendium book that I charged $6 for. Yep. But I would say that these issues are the best ones that he did. His final issues of the book. Because the character Zoe, she doesn't really appear much longer after this, but yeah. But you know what's something really cool about this? The very next story arc is the return of Chuck Dixon to this book. And it's only for one story arc, and I'll explain the reason why when we get to that next time. So, now we're discussing Birds of Prey. We're on to Volume 2, now Volume 2, Volume 3, which I own the first 2 books. I do not own Volume 3. So, basically, these are the issues from Chuck Dixon's, first couple years of the book. And this 3rd volume was the last one they ever published. Because someone at DC clearly doesn't like Chuck Dixon. So, yeah. The only book he wrote where his whole run is in trade paperback is his Nightwing book. I think his run for Detective is all in trade. I believe pretty much just about all of us in trade. I think all his issues were for Detective, Batman, Shadow of Bat, I know it is. His Batman Arts, I know that one's in trade. So I would say some of it's in trade, but not all of it. Excuse me. Take, for example, Birds of Prey, for example, where there is a good chunk of his run that is not in trade. In case you're curious, though, what issue is not in trade for Chuck Dixon for Birds of Prey? 22 to 26, and along with issues 28 to 38 and 43. These issues are not in trade. Why? I have no idea why. It is so baffling to me. I'll be discussing those issues. Oh, don't worry. Now you might be thinking, are these issues bad? No. That's a shocker. It's actually good. So, the trade itself collected issues 12 to 21, plus with a couple issues of Nightwing as part of the Hunt for Oracle crossover, which I've discussed issues already. So, I'm only discussing issues 12, 19. Very short amount of issues. So, in issue number 12, it's an issue where you have, by the way, the arc here is done by Dick Giordano, legendary comic artist who sadly since passed away. This big justice, you have Black Canary, just working with Catwoman for an issue. Dixon has explained on his podcast of why he gave Black Canary this very costume. The reason? Well, the reason is actually pure and simple. Because prior to the start of the Birds of Prey stuff, Black Canary had an actual ongoing series in the 1990s. It was canceled due to low sales. And they changed the outfit for her so that people wouldn't think that this book was just a continuation of Birds of Black Canary. So that classic costume people love, yeah, this the out for this. He may have specifically designed the costume, but that was pretty much the reason for it. Yeah. So you have Catwoman here, and of course she's being. Of course, Black Canary takes her down, and of course Orca works with her, and of course she gets taken into custody with Catwoman. Catwoman's in a separate cell, and then we see at this prison where this is. We have Shrapnel, Monmouth, Spellbinder, a few others. This is prison. We have this guy called Joe Gardner. Who would you think, like, is this character Joe Gardner? Is he really the guy Gardner? I don't think so. Just basically very similar last name. Oh, it's duplicate of Guy Gardner. He's kind of a clone. And he's the creation of Chuck Dixon, so that's the reason why Chuck Dixon basically just he just probably threw him in here. He becomes like a recurring villain for this book for a brief period of time. Like he was just captured in the previous issue, now he's back here for a few issues, and he pops again for one more issue after that. And that was it. So yeah. They deal with this train stuff here, and then the issue ends with, oh, Power Girl is called in to help out. Yes, Power Girl. Yeah. Yeah, also we have Greg Lane and Patrick Zurchin. Then we have, oh, let's have this train get derailed and take it via Boom Tube to Apocalypse. Yes. Yeah, Black Canary goes to Apocalypse and Birds of Prey. I guess Chuck Dick say, why not? And count me as sexy as ever. Yeah, and Power Girl is called in, like, so you might be thinking, how the heck does Black Canary get home? Well, she finds a way. Oh yeah, and also that Spellbinder. Basically, all these characters are captured by the end of this issue here. Yeah, this little story here is basically just. Yeah, then of course they. Yeah, it's called Apocalypse Express Part 2 for issue. Yeah, 12 was like a prologue to this, and then we have continuation of this where it's kind of strange to see a character from Batman comics and Black Canary. Catwoman, Black Canary on Apocalypse. So yeah. They break out and they fight against their own captors. And then Black Canary runs the frickin' Lasha. Yeah. Yeah, runs the Lasha and then Lasha gets hit by a whip. Catwoman's whip. Die. Best you got? You know what, chickie? You throw like a girl. I'm thinking like, wait a minute. She just hit Catwoman. Yeah, it's weird how this is presented. And then Catwoman say about Mama, "Someone catch you, please." You're pretty. Thanks. Shoulders, get me out here. And then of course Joe Gardner helps out Black Canary, and they get back to Earth, no problem. And Catwoman gets away. I'm like, okay. A very interesting story arc. Yeah, and then we have, well, yeah, get this. You have Barbara Gordon here at this, whatever this place is, meeting somebody who turns out to be, well, somebody. Yeah. Yeah, and apparently Diana got all these junk mail in her mailbox somehow. All this junk mail. She's not gone for a while. And and eventually then we have more aliens and then we have where I think it's Diana gets a visit from and then Barbara meets Ted Cord. Yeah, Ted Cord, the Blue Beetle. Yeah, from what I heard is that Chuck had a lot of plans for Ted Cord. But apparently some idiot DC apparently said this when he brought up anything related to Blue Beetle. It's like, I hate Blue Beetle. And like he like people have no idea. Of course, he probably also theorized no one knows what Blue Beetle is. And I'm like, and I'm not calling Chuck Dixon stupid for this. I call him the guy who said this stupid. I mean, Blue Beetle is a popular character. He's always been popular with people. So yeah, we have Barbara basically dating Ted Cord for some issues. Yeah, he just appears as a guest star. And then the issue ends with an appearance by the Joker. Yep, the Joker. Why the heck is he here? Is it Last Laugh? Oh no, it's not Last Laugh. That's not for a couple years. Yeah, so apparently Joker like oh crap as the Joker now. My guess, you probably think like, does Joker remember he shot Barbara Gordon? Maybe, I'm not sure. It's a wild issue really of the Joker, and then we have looks like Power Girl in her outfit she wore from the Justice League comics. Yes, that looks like Power Girl. For reasons, and she's working with Black Canary. Yeah, and apparently like yeah, and you have Barbara Gordon face to face with the Joker. I'm like, Barbara, you do know this is the guy who shot you, and that's never brought up at all. Then apparently it ends with the whole thing with the military. Yep. And then moving on to issue 17. Yeah, Power Girl is still in the book here. Or an updated costume, which this I would love to know the reason why they gave Power Girl a new costume. I mean, I get why Black Canary, but what's wrong with Power Girl's costume? Yeah. Of course, Diana has not even met up with the fact that Oracle is, of course, they have stuff where if Joker gets arrested, it's a nice standalone issue. And then we went to issue 18 here. Or it's called Victims of War. All to do with war stuff, and then it's interesting what it is. Yeah, then apparently there's some random stuff happening here. And then this guy is killed Buy this one with a frickin' brick. Yeah. And then the issue ends with Blockbuster showing up. You're like, what the heck is Blockbuster doing in Birds of Prey? Good question, because next issue doesn't really address it at all, just a quick cameo. And then we have Tim Drake pop up in the book. Dealing with a bunch of aliens, basically via the clock. Oh, suppose van clock time, and eventually that's wrapped up quickly. And Black Canary does a mission. And guess who also is here? Dick Grayson. Yep, he's here. And then Ted Core pops up here. And it's like, Front Oregon. What's the deal tonight? It's Ted. Who? Ted Core. And Dick's like, the Blue Beetle. You used to be Blue Beetle. Did you get a newsletter? Or friends. Yeah, and of course, yeah, so Barbara is dating Ted Cord. A relationship that went nowhere. And it's not Chuck Dixon's fault for that. It's actually his editor. That's basically he replaced in the book. Yeah, it's like some people at DC just didn't give a damn. And then Jason Bard shows up. Yes, Jason Bard is back here for reasons. And then the issue ends with appearance by Lady Vic. And that's it. Next comes Hunt for Oracle, so Oracle disappears, and then that's when Black Canary found out that Barbara Gordon was Oracle all along. Yeah, really interesting issues. It's like, okay, so first you have Blockbuster, and now Lady Vic. Awesome. Really good stuff here. I give these issues a 10 out of 10. Yep. Yeah, but the whole trade a 10 out of 10. So, that's that particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do another dislike button. I gotta go get some dinner, and then it's on to the Misfit of Demon King Academy. Okay? Oh, and when I come back to both these two books, for the third time ever, 2 books by Chuck Dixon. The first time was still doing Robin, and when I started reviewing Catwoman. The second time was basically Green Arrow and Nightwing when I did year 1. And now this is going to be the third time. Awesome. So, until you see the next video,